Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are having another baby. What this means for WWE's future, I am absolutely speechless right now, and you need to hear this because what Triple H and Stephanie McMahon just announced is going to fundamentally change the trajectory of WWE for the next decade. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon have just revealed that they're expecting another child, and I am furious because this announcement raises massive questions about leadership, succession planning, and whether WWE's creative direction is about to shift dramatically. But here's what's making me absolutely livid right now, and I need you to tell me if you feel the same way. What does Triple H having another child mean for his role as Chief Content Officer of WWE? Will this distract him from his creative responsibilities? Will this affect WWE's programming when the most important person in creative needs to take time off? Or is this a good thing that shows WWE's leadership maintaining healthy work-life balance? Tell me right now in the comments what your first reaction was to this news, because what I'm about to reveal about the timing of this announcement, the implications for WWE's future, and how this could fundamentally reshape the entire company is going to make your head spin. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon made this announcement in a statement released earlier today through WWE's official channels and their personal social media accounts. They didn't bury the lead or hide this news, they came out publicly and shared this personal milestone with the entire WWE Universe. Here's what the statement said, and I'm reading it directly. "We are thrilled to announce that our family is growing. Triple H and I are expecting another child, and we couldn't be more excited to welcome a new addition to our family. We want to thank everyone for their support and well wishes as we embark on this new chapter of our lives." It's a beautiful, personal announcement. And on a human level, congratulations to them. Having another child is a blessing and a joyful moment for any family. But here's where my journalistic responsibility kicks in. I have to ask the hard questions about what this means for WWE as a company, because Triple H's role at WWE isn't just any job, he's the Chief Content Officer. He's the man who makes the creative decisions that determine what WWE programming looks like. Quick question before we go deeper: how many children do Triple H and Stephanie already have? Do you know? Drop your answer in the comments. What strikes me most about this announcement is the timing. WWE is in the middle of some of the most important storylines of the year. The Bloodline saga is reaching critical points. Multiple championship reigns are building toward major showdowns. WrestleMania season is approaching. And right now is when Triple H and Stephanie decide to announce they're having another baby? Now, don't get me wrong, the timing of having a baby isn't something you can always control. Nature happens on its own schedule. But the announcement of the pregnancy being made public right now is a choice. They could have waited. They could have announced this later when things weren't so intense creatively. So the question becomes, why now? Why make this public announcement during one of WWE's busiest creative periods? Is Triple H trying to send a message that he's confident enough in WWE's direction that he can step back and focus on his growing family? Or is this announcement going to create disruption at exactly the wrong time? These are the questions that wrestling journalists and business analysts are asking right now, and they're valid concerns about how a company is being run. Do you think Triple H should have waited to announce this, or is now actually the perfect time? Tell me your take. This announcement also raises interesting questions about Stephanie McMahon's role at WWE. Stephanie has been gradually taking on more responsibility in WWE's business operations, especially as the company has shifted toward publicly traded status and corporate accountability. With another child on the way, will Stephanie's focus shift more toward family and away from WWE business? Or will she continue balancing both responsibilities like she has been doing? Will there be tension in their relationship about work-life balance and who's prioritizing what? These aren't gossip questions, they're legitimate questions about how a publicly traded company is being managed when the Chief Content Officer is about to take significant time away for parental responsibilities. Triple H and Stephanie are both incredibly accomplished individuals who have built careers at the highest levels of business and entertainment. They've also been progressive about work-life balance and showing that you can have both career success and family life. But that doesn't mean it won't be complicated or potentially disruptive. WWE will have to make plans for Triple H's temporary absence when the baby comes. Someone will need to step into his role on a temporary basis to ensure creative continuity. That could be an opportunity for someone else in WWE's creative team to showcase their abilities and potentially be in line for bigger responsibilities down the road. Do you think WWE's creative will stay consistent when Triple H takes paternity leave, or do you expect changes? Give me your prediction. Here's where this gets really interesting from a business perspective. WWE is a publicly traded company owned by Endeavor. There's a clear hierarchy of leadership. But one thing that hasn't been clearly established is who succeeds Triple H if something happens to him or if he decides to step back from his role. WWE under Triple H's leadership has been incredible. The creative direction has been thoughtful, long-term storytelling focused. The wrestlers have more creative input. The quality of matches and segments has improved dramatically compared to the Vince McMahon era. Talent retention has improved. Mental health and wellness initiatives have been prioritized. If Triple H steps back significantly to focus on his growing family, who takes over? Is there someone in WWE's creative team who's ready to step into that role? Or would WWE need to bring in outside creative leadership? This baby announcement is relatively minor in the scheme of things, but it raises larger questions about WWE's long-term leadership structure and whether there's a clear succession plan in place. From a company perspective, this is the kind of thing that investors and business analysts are asking about. Every large company needs to have succession plans in place for key positions. WWE needs to ensure that they have talent ready to step in if Triple H's availability changes. Who do you think could replace Triple H as Chief Content Officer if needed? Is there someone ready in WWE's organization, or would they need to look outside? Let me know. Setting aside the business implications for a moment, let's acknowledge the personal joy of this announcement. Triple H and Stephanie have built a beautiful family together. They're clearly excited about welcoming another child into their lives. That's genuinely wonderful and worth celebrating. Both Triple H and Stephanie are known for being devoted parents. They talk openly about their family in interviews. They've brought their children to WWE events occasionally. They've modeled what healthy parenting and partnership look like in an industry that often makes that balance very difficult. From a human perspective, this is happy news. A family is growing. Parents are excited. That's something to be genuinely happy about. But as a wrestling journalist covering WWE, I have to also consider the professional implications. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can be happy for someone personally while also recognizing that their personal news has business implications. Have you followed Triple H and Stephanie's parenting journey through their public comments? What do you think they'll be like as parents to a third child? Tell me your thoughts. The wrestling community has had a range of reactions to this announcement. Some people are thrilled and posting congratulations. Others are immediately concerned about what this means for WWE's creative direction. Still others are making jokes and memes about the situation. Social media has been flooded with commentary. Some fans are saying this is wonderful news, let's celebrate the family. Others are asking hard questions about whether Triple H's attention might be divided and what that means for WWE programming. Wrestlers backstage have reportedly been supportive, with many sending private messages of congratulation to Triple H and Stephanie. The locker room culture under Triple H's leadership has been positive, so there's a lot of goodwill toward him personally, even among people who might have professional concerns about the implications. Wrestling media has been analyzing this from multiple angles. Some outlets are focusing on the joyful family news. Others are diving deep into the business implications. Everyone agrees it's a significant announcement worth discussing. What's your reaction to this news? Are you happy for them, concerned about WWE, or somewhere in the middle? Tell me exactly what you think. This announcement also opens up a larger conversation about work-life balance in the wrestling business. Wrestling has historically been brutal on families. The travel schedule is grueling. The time away from home is significant. The physical and mental toll is high. WWE has gotten better about this under Triple H's leadership. They've implemented policies that give wrestlers more reasonable schedules when possible. They've prioritized mental health and wellness. They've tried to create a company culture that recognizes that wrestlers are human beings with families, not just performers to be squeezed for content. Triple H and Stephanie are both powerful examples of people who have achieved incredible career success while also maintaining strong family relationships. They're showing that you don't have to sacrifice family for professional achievement. But the wrestling business is still brutal on families. Most wrestlers don't have the luxury of being able to step back or take time off whenever they want. They have to keep working and keep earning. So while Triple H and Stephanie can balance a new baby with their professional responsibilities, the vast majority of WWE wrestlers can't. This announcement, in a way, highlights that disparity. The people at the very top of the company can have it all: family, career success, work-life balance. But the people further down the card have to make much harder choices. Do you think WWE's current schedule and policies are fair to wrestlers trying to balance family and career? What changes would you like to see? Give me your ideas. This baby announcement also represents a generational shift in how WWE is being operated. Vince McMahon represented the old school of wrestling business, all-consuming dedication to wrestling above all else, including family relationships. Triple H and Stephanie represent a different approach, professional dedication but also recognition that life is about more than just work. They're not willing to sacrifice family time for wrestling. They want both. That's a healthier approach to life and business. It also suggests that WWE's culture will continue to shift toward being a more humane workplace where people's personal lives are respected and valued. This could be one of the most important announcements WWE has made in years, not because of the baby itself, but because it represents a cultural shift in how the company operates and what the company values. That's actually really positive for WWE's future. A company that respects work-life balance will attract better talent and create a healthier working environment. Wrestlers will be happier, more creative, and more productive if they feel that their families and personal lives are supported rather than seen as distractions. Do you think WWE's culture has changed under Triple H compared to how it was under Vince McMahon? What differences have you noticed? Tell me in the comments. One practical concern is, how will WWE handle production and creative when Triple H needs to take time away for the birth and early parenting months? Triple H is hands-on with creative. He's involved in meeting with wrestlers about storylines. He approves character changes and creative directions. He makes final decisions on major angles. If he's absent or distracted for months, that could affect WWE's output. But WWE has talented people in creative leadership. People like Shawn Michaels, John Laurinaitis, and others can step up and maintain consistency during Triple H's absence. WWE won't grind to a halt or suddenly produce bad content just because Triple H is temporarily unavailable. In fact, this could be a good opportunity for other creative voices to get more input and show what they can do. WWE might even benefit from having multiple perspectives involved in creative decisions rather than everything flowing through Triple H. The key is planning and preparation. WWE leadership should be thinking now about how to handle this transition when it happens. They need to ensure continuity while also making space for other talented people to step up. Who do you think should temporarily take over Triple H's responsibilities when he's on paternity leave? Who's ready for that kind of responsibility? Drop your answer in the comments. This new baby is also part of the McMahon family legacy. The McMahon name is one of the most famous names in wrestling history. Every family member born into that name carries the weight of that legacy, whether they want to or not. Will this new child eventually work in WWE like their siblings? Will they be pushed toward the wrestling business, or will Triple H and Stephanie allow them to choose their own path? These are questions that will be answered over the next 18 to 20 years as the child grows up. WWE fans love following wrestling families and seeing how the next generation carries on the tradition. Think about the Anoa'i family, the Hart family, the Guerrero family. Wrestling families have deep histories and legacies that span generations. The McMahon family's involvement in WWE is obviously different. They own the company rather than just working as wrestlers. But the principle is similar: multi-generational involvement in the business. Will we eventually see this new McMahon child working in WWE? Will they be an executive, a performer, or something else entirely? Those are questions that wrestling fans will be asking for years to come. Do you think this new McMahon baby will eventually work in WWE? If so, what position would you want to see them in? Tell me your prediction. From a purely financial perspective, this announcement could have interesting implications for WWE's publicly traded status. WWE's stock price can be affected by major announcements about company leadership. Some investors might see this as a positive. It shows that Triple H is confident enough in WWE's direction that he can take on the responsibility of another child. Others might be concerned: will Triple H's divided attention affect his ability to lead WWE creatively? Generally, announcements about executives' personal lives don't dramatically affect stock prices unless there's a concerning reason. This announcement actually positions Triple H positively as a well-balanced executive who can handle both professional and personal responsibilities. Endeavor, WWE's parent company, probably sees this as a non-issue from a business perspective. Triple H has proven he can handle his responsibilities while also being a devoted family man. There's no indication he would be stepping back from his role or reducing his professional commitment. If anything, this announcement might reinforce investor confidence in Triple H as a leader. It shows someone who's well-rounded and capable of handling multiple important responsibilities simultaneously. Do you think this announcement will have any effect on WWE's stock price? Will investors view this positively or negatively? Give me your financial analysis. An interesting question that will need to be addressed: will Triple H take parental leave when the baby is born? WWE and Endeavor have policies about parental leave, as do most modern companies. Triple H has every right to take advantage of those policies and spend time bonding with his new child. But Triple H is also the Chief Content Officer, one of the most important positions in the company. Taking extended time away from that role is more complicated than it would be for someone in a different position. This raises questions about whether WWE's leadership structure is too dependent on one person. A healthy company should have redundancy built in so that key functions can continue even when top executives are unavailable. WWE should use this as an opportunity to strengthen its creative team and ensure that multiple people can make important decisions, not just Triple H. That would be healthier for the company long-term and would also give other talented people opportunities to grow. How much parental leave do you think Triple H should take? Should he take several months, or should he try to stay involved in WWE business? What would be healthy for his family and for the company? Tell me. This isn't the first time WWE has dealt with executives having children and needing to balance professional and personal responsibilities. Vince McMahon raised his children while building WWE into a global empire. Stephanie McMahon had children while working in various WWE positions and executive roles, so there's historical precedent for this kind of balancing act. It's not unprecedented for WWE to have leaders who are also parents. The difference is that Triple H seems more committed to actually being involved in his children's lives and taking time for family, which is a positive cultural shift. WWE's history shows that executives can have children and still run the company effectively. It requires planning and support, but it's absolutely doable. This new baby isn't a threat to WWE's operations, it's just a new reality that WWE's leadership will need to manage. The key difference is that under Vince's leadership, personal life was subordinated to business almost completely. Under Triple H and Stephanie's leadership, there's more of a balance between the two. That's probably healthier for everyone involved. Can you think of other WWE executives who balanced major responsibilities with being parents? How did they manage it? Tell me your WWE history knowledge. At the end of the day, this announcement is about more than just a baby. It's about the evolution of WWE as a company. It's about how professional wrestling is becoming a more sustainable business where people can have careers and families. For decades, professional wrestling demanded everything from its performers and its leadership. You either sacrificed everything for wrestling or you didn't succeed. That was the culture. Triple H and Stephanie are changing that culture. They're showing that you can run one of the world's largest entertainment companies while also having a fulfilling family life. That's revolutionary in the wrestling business. This new baby represents hope for the future of wrestling, a future where the business is sustainable long-term because people don't have to destroy their personal lives to succeed professionally. That's actually incredibly positive for the industry and for everyone involved in wrestling at every level. Do you think professional wrestling is evolving into a healthier, more sustainable business model? What changes would you still like to see? Let me know in the comments. ## final thoughts. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon are having another baby. On the surface, it's wonderful personal news. On a deeper level, it represents the evolution of WWE as a company and a cultural shift in how professional wrestling operates. WWE will handle Triple H's temporary absence effectively. The company is strong enough and has enough talented people to maintain creative quality even when Triple H is focused on his family. This isn't a threat to WWE's operations, it's just a natural part of how businesses function when leaders have lives outside of work. Congratulations to Triple H and Stephanie on this exciting news. And thank you for showing the wrestling industry that you can have it all: professional success, financial achievement, and a rich family life. Questions for viewers as we wrap up this discussion. I need you to answer these critical questions in the comments. What was your first reaction to this announcement? Were you happy for them, concerned about WWE, or something else? Do you think Triple H should take extended parental leave? How long should he be away from WWE? Who should temporarily take over Triple H's responsibilities? Who's ready for that opportunity? Will this new baby eventually work in WWE? If so, what position would you want them in? Has WWE's culture improved under Triple H? What's changed compared to the Vince McMahon era? Is professional wrestling becoming more sustainable? Are performers and executives finding better balance? What's your boldest prediction about what this announcement means for WWE's future? Smash that like button if you appreciate balance takes on WWE news. Subscribe to Wrestling Newsletter for more in-depth analysis of everything happening in professional wrestling. Turn on notifications so you don't miss breaking news. This is Wrestling Newsletter, and I'll see you in the next video with more coverage of everything happening in WWE and professional wrestling.